What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of my R&B review. The album I'm about to review tonight is Patrice Rushen. This is her I believe it's an A studio album, Straight from the Heart, released in 1982 on Elektra Records. Yeah, Patrice Rushen, man, one of the most slept on R&B artists in my personal opinion. Unfortunately, this is like the only album I have from her. A lot of her albums kind of go like for a lot of money, but I'm getting way ahead of myself and shit like that. Um, yeah, this is actually, excuse me, this is actually a seventh studio album. Excuse me. Producers are Patrice Rushen and Charles Minn Jr. And the singles albums known for are "Forget Me Nots," "Breakout," and "I Was Tired of Being Alone." And would you guys hold on for one quick second? By the way, the song you guys are listening to in the background is "Forget Me Nots," sampled a lot of times. Okay, all right, sorry about that. So for those of you who don't know who Patrice Rushen is, she is a singer and a jazz pianist. She was born in Los Angeles and shit like. Excuse me. She was born in Los Angeles, where she graduated from Locke High School, and she's always had an interest in music. And she got a degree in the University of Southern California. And fast forward to 1974. Word of mouth got about her skill, and she had signed to Prestige Records. Um, Now Prestige Records, where she dropped three instrumental albums: Pollution in '74, Before the Dawn in '75, and Shout It Out in '77. Before I continue with this biography, I have to keep everything in the book. This is really the only album I ever heard in full from Patrice Rushen. I've heard songs here and there, but never another album in full. So one day I'll gonna give her album a chance and shit like that. If I find some albums on vinyl, I'll most definitely pick it up. So that's why my memory's gonna be a little fuzzy and shit like that. So it was around that time. Those albums, they did it very moderately well and shit in their circle, and at that time, R&B was really like experimenting more with like it was like R&B was like the major dominant form of black music at that time, because it was experimenting more with the synthesizers like Stevie Wonder, most definitely Earth, Wind and Fire, um and so on and so on. So 1978, fast forward to that, she had signed to Elektra Records, and she got like more creative control. And it's actually kind of historic too, because she was actually the second black artist signed to that label. Who was the? I was wondering who was the first. I think it was Sly Stone, if I'm not mistaken. Artist signed to Epic Records. It's got to be Sly Stone and shit. Hold on. Yeah, I'm not really finding that then, but because I had a feeling it was Sly Stone. But back to this Patrice Rushen and shit. Yeah, she was the second black artist signed to that label, and that's find that kind of surprising and shit. But um, other than I made a fucking mistake. Got Electra and Epic mixed up. I'm tripping. I'm tripping on that. Excuse me on that. That was a slight mishap on my part. Okay. other than that, my fault. So she wanted to like do more R&B. And between the years of 78 and 1980, she hooked up, with people like Charles Mims Jr., Freddie Washington, dope bassist, by the way, and Reggie Andrews and shit. And she dropped albums like Patrice, Pizzazz, and Patrice released in 1978, Pizzazz 1979, and Posh 1980. I heard some of those albums and shit. It was very good from what I've heard. But while she was getting like more success in that circle and shit, a lot of people in her longtime fans were kind of bashing her sound because of the fact that she was going for this like more R&B polished kind of sound and stuff like that. And it was like, her fans were kind of like shitting on her for that at that time. So, whilst at Elektra Records, she would then release her most famous album to date, which is right here. So yeah, Straight from the Heart, 1982 and shit like that. So yeah, very beautiful lady, by the way. You have the fucking braids and shit like that, Yeah, it didn't come with no booklet, so, and they have the whole lyrics right there and shit, so yeah. Give me one quick second, let me just get my notes together. Okay. Alright. So yeah, okay, so this album has about 9 songs. Let's get this shit started. Track number 1, Forget Me Nots. That's like one of my favorite songs, not from this album, one of my favorite R&B songs, period. Just anytime you hear that bass, anytime you hear that, those live with you, forget me, this always puts me in a good mood. I always have like a lot of memories listening to that on the radio when I was little and shit like that. The lyrics talk about, just one like trying to rekindle her love, with the ex-lover and shit like that. And yeah, but at the same time, it's definitely like, if you listen to the beat, it'll definitely get you in a good mood, to get you dancing and shit like that. This song actually got her nominated for Best Female R&B Vocal Performance at the 1980 Grammys. Freddie Washington definitely did his thing on the bass on that song. And yes, this is a song Will Smith sampled for Miami off the Men in Black soundtrack. And I believe that song was actually on the Big Willie Style album, which I gotta re-listen to that album and shit like that. Dope album, by the way. Give me a second. Alright, so yeah, Forget Me Nots. And yeah, and Loki, that's, in my opinion, that's her signature song right there. And I feel like a lot of her fans, whether they would agree or not, or don't want to agree, that is like her signature song, though. But yeah. Track number 2, which is playing in the background, I Was Tired of Being Alone. Yeah, that song was pretty cool too. Self-explanatory. I feel like that song is kind of like a little continuation of Forget Me Nots. Nice little club banger, Track number 3, All We Need. Yeah, another dope song and shit like that. That song, it's a duet with the co-writer Roy Galloway and shit like that. Roy Galloway. Yeah, that's a pretty good duet. Vocally, it's one of the best songs vocally on this album, I would have to say. Track number 4 is number 1, which is like a little instrumental and shit like that. Track number 5, Where There's Love. Oh my god. Dope, dope, dope song right there. That song right there is another one of the most sample songs and shit like that. All of my Mobb Deep fans should definitely know about that song. Rest in peace to Prodigy. Also, Smooth sampled that song as well too. So yeah, that song right there. That song definitely reminds me of shit that you would definitely hear from Denise Williams. This is Niecy album and shit like that. Something in that vein and shit, like that Charles Stepney kind of sound and shit, you know. Rest in peace to Charles Stepney, by the way, and Maurice White. Track number 6, Breakout. Speaking of Earth, Wind, and Fire, this song to me definitely has that Earth, Wind, and Fire kind of sound towards it, especially with the guitars and the shit like that. Yeah, definitely a very dope song. Yeah, very good song and shit like that. After Breakout, we at If Only. Very sentimental song and shit. Sarita Wright definitely helped write this song. You guys should know who Sarita Wright is. If you guys watch my Stevie Wonder reviews, like Talking Book, Music of the Mind, yeah, you guys should know, like, definitely his wife, songwriter, and definitely a contributor to his sound, his traditional sound, if you ask me. Yeah, people don't want to really give her credit, but I say that and shit like that. Yeah, definitely, I feel like she's talking about it, like some heartbreak on this song and shit like that. I love when she says the lines like, "I know how it feels inside to have love unreturned. I know that it seems your love will forever burn. How I wish that I could be the way you were for me and give you all the things that your heart needs and shit." So, seems like she's kind of regretting everything and shit like that. Regretting everything and feeling very like vulnerable and shit like that. Very dope song. If Only. Sarita definitely did this thing on songwriting and shit like that. Excuse me. Then we get to Remind Me, which is my favorite song off this album. Next to Forget Me Nots, I feel like this is possibly another one of his signature songs. That dun 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 dun, like that fucking keyboard riff, so iconic in my opinion. That's another song where it's been sampled a lot of times in hip hop R&B. All of my tragedy fans should know about that song. Yeah, keeping it real and shit like that. Yeah, I fucking love the lyrics and shit like that. Starlight, star bright, your love shines near or far, just like the brightest star. Sweet things you do, it sets my heart aglow. And I want you to know is that they remind me I'm lucky I'm falling in love with you, darling. So it's just a fucking feeling of just falling in love. That's like what I love about this song and shit. And yeah, this song definitely. If you play this song like at a barbecue, at a party, you'll definitely like get the party jumping and shit with this song. You know what I'm saying? All right, so that is Remind Me. And the last song is She Will Take You Down to Love, which pretty cool song again, you know. That's a experimental song. She was kind of experimenting with a lot of South American music and shit like that. The best way to express that song is something from Stevie Wonder's mid-70s work, excuse me, mixed with Earth, Wind, and Fire's work, either from Spirit or All in All. So yeah, that is straight from the heart. In my opinion, very good album, classic album if you ask me. Um, this album right here is like I said before, this is the most famous album to date. A lot of people have sampled from this album. People have covered from this album. Yeah, Patrice Rushen is definitely an underrated figure in R&B. She is like singing, like Prodigy wise and shit like that. And in case you guys watched one of my old reviews and my Prince review of the second album, he wrote, legend has it, he wrote, I Want to Be Your Lover, dedicated that to Patrice Rushen and shit. So, yeah, man. Very dope album and shit like that. This album is still in print. I think they recently re-released this album, 2017. So, if you guys find this album, don't hesitate. Don't hesitate. Don't be hesitant. Buy it, support it, and shit, you know. And I definitely need to get some more albums from her as well. So, that's Patrice Rushen with Straight from the Heart, 1982. Peace.